outpost square. And what's the definition of an outpost square? Who remembers? What's an outpost? You read the chapter on outposts, Afrin. So what is an outpost square? According to this author, what does he call an outpost? Well, it's a square, usually either in the center or near the center, where no enemy pawn can chase your pieces away. And it's guarded by one of your pawns. So it's a nice square for your pieces to meet at. Just as we need apartment 3G to have our chess lesson. If we didn't have a place for the chess lesson, we would not be able to have the chess lesson. So think of chess pieces in the same way. They need a square to meet at. They're kind of like people, not really, but there's a similarity there where and then they use that square. They all take turns occupying that square, and from that square they then move further into the opponent's territory. So this is a well-known opening, the Ruy Lopez, and at this point, pawn captures. So where is the outpost square? Can you see a square, Avni, on black side of the board that white can put pieces and no pawn can chase him away from, and one of his own pawns is guarding it? How about you, Efren? Guarded by a white pawn on black side of the board, and no black pawn can chase you away. Oh, there's how many squares on black side of the board are guarded by a white pawn? There's only two of them that I can see, right? Black side of the board is here. So what square is a white pawn guarding on black side of the board and no black pawn is guarding?
D5.
D5, right. D5 is the correct square. See, it's guarded by a white pawn. Now this is also guarded by a white pawn, but black can always go there, and he will do that later in the game. He will do that to take, but here he cannot, there's no pawn that can guard that square. So that's an outpost square. And the reason why you want to guard it by your own pawn, I'm going to use an example from, do you ever watch any of those crime shows on TV where there's you don't watch much TV? Well, very often in the movies or in a TV show, the bad guys will be hiding in a house somewhere, and the good guys have to figure out some way to break into the house. So maybe they'll kick the door down and come rushing in and arrest the bad guys. But before they do that, they want to make sure that they have enough, policemen and good guys there that they outnumber the bad guys, all right? Because let's say there's 10 bad guys in the house and there's only 5 policemen coming in. That's not too good. You want to have more. You want to maybe 15 against 10, all right? So what's going to happen sometimes with outpost squares? Sometimes with an outpost square, you're able to occupy the square. No pieces can ever chase you out, and you use the square, and all your pieces take turns occupying it. Sometimes an enemy piece will capture your piece, and then when you capture it back with the pawn, it's like the door got kicked in, and all of your pieces come crashing into his house, his side of the board. That's what's going to happen in this game. In this game here, white is going to finally put a piece on the D5 square. Eventually, black will capture it with one of his pieces. This pawn will capture it back, and now all heck will break loose. All the white's pieces are going to come crashing in. Well, the other choice that black has is to allow the knight to stay on that square, but that's also a bad option, because now, in other words, you have two bad choices. Either allow a knight to stay on D5, completely immobilizing your position and preventing you from doing anything active, or you can exchange it, and then when the pawn captures back, it's like the door got kicked in. All right, so let's see an example of that in this game. So now all the pieces are aiming for that square, white and black. The black piece, the bishop aims for that square. The white piece, the knight aims for that square. The black rook aims for that square, chasing the queen away. And now, as I said, this pawn moves forward. So now the knight, which is on e3, no longer has that move, but he still has this move. But it's all a matter of timing. See, right now, it would be too early to bring your knight into d5. So as the author says, for the moment, black has everything under control. White's outpost on d5 is well covered, and his white has been denied the f5 square. This move g6 took away f5. So what is there for white to do? The answer must be to chase away the defenders. So he's going to try to, so he wants to chase away this bishop. So his knight wants the bishop to run away, and then maybe now his knight can come into the square. But black plays a very good move. He leaves the bishop there. Now, many players would say, ooh, wow, I can give up a knight for a bishop and double up his pawns, and they would do that. But why would that be a bad idea?
He doubled up the pawns?
Right. Well, he did double up the pawns, but are those pawns covering key squares? So even though these pawns are weak, no more outposts. See, by allowing that pawn to capture diagonally, now you've given up the outpost. And what's worse, now black has an outpost square. Where is black? Black has an outpost square inside white's territory guarded by a black pawn. And no white pawn can chase away. Can you see the square that black now has inside white's territory?
D3?
Not b3 because there's a pawn here, but
No, D3.
D3 is correct. So what would likely happen is eventually this knight would go here, here, and here, and all of a sudden the tables would get turned. Earlier it looked like white was going to get outpost inside black's territory. If you were to do that, black would get the outpost inside your territory. So he doesn't take the bishop. That would be a bad move. So what he does now looks like open file. So he wants to open up the file for the rook. So he pushes that pawn. The king comes up what's a little safer. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. And now I must admit, the first time I saw this game, I was completely mystified by the next move. I would have done the same thing. You get an open file for your rook. And now, amazingly, white brings his rook there. And I said, why would he do that? And then I realized why is because he wants to take away this outpost. He wants to push this pawn, you see? And now he'll be threatening pawn takes pawn, and if the bishop takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and the queen gets lost. So he moved the rook over there to pin the pawn to the queen, because he wants to get rid of that outpost square. So then black would have no choice but to take, and now goodbye outpost. So both players, the player of the white pieces was the world champion in the early 1960s, Mikhail Tal, and David Bronstein about 10 years earlier tied for the world championship, but the title stayed with Botvinnik. So they're both very strong players, and you can see how all their moves revolve around the outpost square. Black was hoping the knight would take the bishop to take away that outpost. White wants to push this pawn to take away this outpost, and black says, nope, sorry, I'm not going to let you get rid of my outpost square. I'm going to bring my knight in here, and now you can't push that pawn without losing. But that actually is a bad move. As the author says, at the end of the game, when he tells you what the losing move was, black found it extremely difficult to undertake any active plan without allowing knight to d5. Indeed, he only had to decentralize one piece with knight to a5, and then he was in big trouble, all right? So a knight on the rim is grim. Have I ever told you that expression before?
Yeah, you told us.
All right, so he's very unhappy. So this knight's not very happy. He's grim. He's not smiling. He's on the side of the board. Here, he was very happy, but now he's been decentralized, and so white says, aha, I'll attack that pawn which the knight is no longer guarding, and now my knight will come in to the key square. Okay, so, of course, black will take with one of his pieces. So he takes with the bishop, and the pawn takes here, and now he plays here, and white comes crashing in. Remember what I said earlier about, actually he comes crashing in with the queen. I'm sorry, first with the queen. So queen takes, knight takes, knight takes, and now you can see how the door got kicked in. All the white pieces can come the rooks are going to come rushing in on the central files, and now at this point, he goes to attack the knight. The knight can't go back to its old square because it's covered by the knight, so he goes here, but this is losing, because after bishop takes, pawn takes, these pawns, look how weak they are. These are weak pawns, and now comes a very surprising move. Tal was a great tactician. He goes bishop to h6, check.
Check.
Now there's nothing guarding that bishop, Avni, right? But
Yeah.
why would it be a bad idea to capture it? What tactic would white have if the king took the bishop? You see a knight fork?
Yep.
Where's the knight fork? Can you see it? I think-
F7. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
your
can
mom
take-
sees it. Knight captures f7, check. The king would move. You would go knight takes, rook. The bishop can't take because you would lose the rook. The rook would take. And then after something like this would be very bad. This bishop is pinned. And then your rook would come in here and pick off over these pawns. That would be very bad. But what he did was also not good either. Basically, he's losing here. This is just a lost position. But he retreats the king. Now he has to watch out for back rank mates, because now the king could get mated on the back rank because he can't do R for run. So that's one of the problems after the king retreats. And now the knight comes into the square, and the rook goes to attack it. And as I said, he's going to come crashing in on the central files. Now that the door got kicked in. Look how white's rooks. You see how when that pawn captured and got taken, you see how the door got open? You see how, now you understand why it's important to have a pawn guarding your outpost square. So that when they capture, now open lines. And, you know, at chesskid.com there's a video by International Master David Pruce where he says, when you don't know what to do, these are 5 suggestions, and one of them is open up lines for your pieces. You know, trade off pawns and open up lines for your pieces, and that's what white does in this game. Using the outpost square, and the pawn gets exchanged for black's pawn, and now the white rooks come crashing in, and this is a losing position. In fact, he's already threatening rook takes the bishop. Wait a minute, did we lose a piece for black? What happened to black's other rook? I think we lost a piece of, oh, there's a rook here. No, let's not forget about this guy. Okay, so, but already he's threatening rook takes the bishop, because you can't even capture back because of that back rank mate that we were talking about. See, the king can't run. The rook would do p for protect, but then it would be checkmated one more move. So, black's in big trouble here. So what he does is he tries to make some room for his king by going there. So now his king can run. And what happens next is, what does happen next? Wait a minute, I have this right. No, this rook is actually here. Let's get the position correct. All right, so now he goes, rook takes, he gets 2 free pawns. He just picks up pawns for free here. Rook takes the pawn. He's trying to trap the bishop so he can't get out, but Tal says, thank you, I'll take another pawn. And, but now before he can trap the bishop, now the king can't come here to win the bishop, because then this bishop would be attacked twice and would be lost. So he has to trade off a rook, like this. And now Tal is able to get his bishop out by pushing his pawns forward. And the bishop goes here, check. The king comes here. Pawn captures. The rook attacks the bishop. And the rook comes back, black regards, and now on check, the king can't take that pawn without losing this bishop, because now the bishop would be pinned to the king, so he can't even take that pawn. And so the king comes here, and now he does attack the bishop like this. This pawn's trying to make it to the queening square. Rook takes the bishop. Looks like the pawn's going to make it to the queening square, but at the last second, bishop check, and black resigns. Because after the king moves, you just pick off the pawn. Now you're down a whole bishop, and bishop and 2 pawns. So this would be hopeless. But, as the author